1996. 11-year-old Jesse meets his grandpa Gene to go out hunting and camping out in the woods. It is a beautiful, crisp morning, and everything goes smoothly. Grandpa Gene teaches Jesse how to shoot a deer, and he successfully shoots one. They go to follow the trail of blood of the wounded deer, until Jesse splits off from following his granddad, as he was trying to befriend a creature that makes a strange noise. Jesse follows it, and then comes across a strange set of stairs in the middle of the woods, without explanation. Jesse is amazed by it, and walks to the top and back. He hears the creature again, and comes back down the stairs to look at it. Meanwhile, Grandpa Gene is calling out to Jesse. Looking for him, he comes across his hiking bag and rifle and suddenly hears Jesse scream. He runs in the direction, until he comes across the strange stairs and sees Jesse hanging onto the front of the stairs, and something is pulling him from behind. Grandpa Gene runs around, and has a look of horror on his face as he sees the creature, lifts his rifle and fires, but misses. Then he goes into the door behind the stairs after Jesse. Modern day, some friends are going out camping together in the same woods. Their names are Nick and Josh, who are brothers, and Rebecca and Jordan, who are a couple. They all meet at a car park at the beginning of the trail. Rebecca gives Josh and Nick a big excited hug, and she introduces them to her girlfriend Jordan. Rebecca asks where their other friend Chuck is, but Josh goes quiet, a bit uncomfortable. Josh tells them that Chuck canceled at the last minute, and that Doug is coming instead. All the others are less than enthused that Doug is joining them. Josh apologizes to them for everything that is about to happen, and Rebecca rolls her eyes. Doug shows up in his 4x4 and is loud and outgoing and cocky. They all head off on the trail, and Doug leads and goofs around with Rebecca, asking her about her lesbian relationship. Jordan says he is beginning to grow on her. Doug jokingly says the romance is beginning between him and her already. They walk for about 5 hours, and Nick is really struggling with his pack. Doug makes fun of him, and up a bit further, Nick needs to stop and rest. The others discover he is carrying far over the recommended pack weight that Rebecca had suggested, and Doug makes a show of emptying out his bag to see what he has packed. He empties out 3 pairs of jeans, and the others laugh because of how heavy they are. He also packs several cans of chili, and all of them laugh again at his strange choice of food and the heaviness of the cans. Nick's brother Josh suggests that Nick can take his pack, and he will take Nick's, but he will have to leave behind all the tins of chili, the jeans, and the big heavy tent, and he can share his 2-man tent with him, and they will come back and pick it up on the way back. They continue on with their hike, and randomly come across a very bizarre hut made out of sticks. Jordan says it looks freaky, and Rebecca is creeped out by it too. They walk on, and Jordan notices that Rebecca's shoes are untied, and lets her know. Rebecca stops to do her laces up, while the others continue down the trail. As Rebecca is doing up her shoes, she sees 2 disgusting-looking feet walk up to hers. She looks up in absolute horror to see an evil-looking disheveled woman with sharp teeth snarling at her. Rebecca screams, and runs back down the trail they all had come. The others hear Rebecca's blood-curdling scream, and run back to catch up with her. Rebecca inadvertently ends up back near the little stick hut, and the woman appears inside and snarls at her again. Rebecca screams again, and heads back towards the others. She falls to her knees on the trail, out of breath and terrified. The others reach her and ask her what happened. Rebecca isn't able to talk at first, being so frightened and out of breath. She imagines to get out hysterically that she saw a woman, and she was chasing her. Doug looks like he doesn't believe her, tells them it's ridiculous, and walks off to continue the trail. The others calm her down, and suddenly they hear Doug yell. Nick runs to see if he is okay, and the rest follow. They come to a lake and can't see Doug anywhere, but he is hiding below the surface and jumps up out of the water, laughing at them. He doesn't laugh long, however, when Jordan sees he has leeches all over him, and they all laugh. He then runs out of the water screaming, and Jordan helps him get them off while he yells out in pain. Afterwards, they continue their trail for quite a few hours. Josh is out in front and hears a man talking to himself. As he walks further, he can see a man in a black suit walking back and forth, distressed and seemingly talking to himself. Doug comes up behind Josh, and they both agree that it's as if he is tripping out. The girls see the man, and all of them feel very weary, but approach the man slowly. Josh tries to talk to him first, but he almost seems like he is unaware of their presence. Doug walks up and freaks out as he sees the back of the man's head is cracked open, almost like a gunshot wound. Doug yells at the girls to grab a first aid kit, and Rebecca runs over with it, but sees a woman that is sitting down and rocking backward and forward. It's the same woman that snarled at her on the trail, and she runs backwards in fear. Doug picks up a big stick for self-defense, and holds it like a bat in a defensive manner, standing behind the rambling man in case he lashes out. Jordan squats near the woman and sees that she is holding a baby. There is blood covering the woman and on the child's blanket, and her eyes widen in horror. The man goes to approach the sitting woman, and Josh pushes him on his chest in a protective manner and tells the man to calm down. The man suddenly becomes aware of Josh's presence, and asks him how he got there and they shouldn't be there. Doug says they are all in the woods and not going anywhere. The man then tells them they need to run along, because it is all a family matter, and again Doug says they are not going anywhere. The man grabs a gun out and waves it at Doug, and Doug raises his hands in surrender. The man keeps telling them to leave, and Josh tells him that they are leaving, and for him to calm down. The man becomes increasingly aggressive, and then aims the but it has no effect. He tells them to go. The four of them stand there in shock, not believing how the man is still alive. Then the woman gets up with the baby in her arms and then holds it up for them to see with one hand. It is not a human baby, but a maggot. All of the friends are beyond freaked out by what they are witnessing. And as the man aims the gun at them, they run as fast as they can without stopping for a long time, ensuring they have enough distance from the weird man and woman. They all stand catching their breath for a while. And then Nick starts to have a breakdown. Jordan tells him to calm down, and Nick gets even more hysterical, saying that he needs to not calm down, but get out of the woods as fast as he can. And he can't believe his friends are trying to be calm when they just witnessed in the head with no effect and a bloodied woman holding up a maggot baby. Eventually, the others are able to calm Nick down, and they decide to camp for the night to get some rest. Doug shows everyone how he will be calming down with some mushrooms. The others think he is insane, but let him do what he likes. When it gets dark, Jordan, Doug, Rebecca, Josh, and Nick sit around a fire, and then Nick and Rebecca go to bed first, saying they are tired. Doug convinces Josh that he will swap with him for the night, but first he wants to lay down in the tent and get high off his mushrooms. Next, Jordan goes to bed, which leaves only Josh up alone. In his tent, Doug closes his eyes and gets high. He has a lucid dream that he is having Jordan. He is so far into his trip that he doesn't realize what is happening when something starts to drag him inside his sleeping bag out of his tent and deeper into the woods. Doug is not alarmed at all and still imagines he can see Jordan having. Things start to turn horrific for Doug as he starts to see reality as it is and sees that a hideous maggot-like humanoid creature is on top of him and then attacks him. Doug screams in terror. Josh, who is sitting alone by the fire, hears Doug scream, and he wakes the others, asking if they heard him. He says it mustn't be him because he knows he went into his tent. However, when Jordan checks his tent, he is not there. They all fear that he has walked off into the woods, hallucinating from the mushrooms, so they all go to find him. They don't find him, but find his shoe and some clothing. However, Josh is more annoyed than concerned, seeing Doug as irresponsible and stupid. Then he sees his sleeping bag with blood on it. Rebecca says she wants to go to the road to find a ranger's station. Josh says they must find Doug. They then see a light in the woods and go to investigate, and find the stairs, the very same ones that Grandpa Gene and his grandson found. They all discuss how disturbing it is that they have lights on them, with seemingly nothing powering them. Jordan becomes freaked out and urges them all to go, so does Nick. Josh is near the stairs, ready to leave, but he can hear people's muffled talking and screaming. He sees a door, but it is locked. Josh barges the door open, and then falls into the weird room plant below. They all follow him in and they explore the weird large plant. They find a young boy sitting alone, and he is scared. The boy gets to talking to them, and then finds out they came in through a door and asks to go back there. There is a strange creature there, and they run from it, running towards the stairs they came in from. The creature catches Josh and bites at his neck, fatally wounding him. Nick cries as he runs up the stairs after the young boy, and shuts the door on the creature. Rebecca sees Nick and squats down next to him, and he tells her that Josh is gone, with tears in his eyes. Rebecca comforts Nick, but tells him they have to get out of the woods. Jordan, Rebecca, the young boy, and Nick run as fast as they can to get away from the creature, who is now making noises behind them. Nick falls into a muddy, dirty patch with other human bones, and as he gets up, he sees Doug's body lying on the ground. Rebecca and Jordan see Doug, and the young boy says that he wants to go home. They hear the creature coming closer, and scared out of their minds, they all run until they see an abandoned food truck and try to get in. Nick manages to open the side door of the truck, and the boy, Jordan, and Nick go to hop in, but as Rebecca tries to follow, the creature grabs her head and attacks her, ending her life as she screams. Nick shuts them all in, and they all cry in the back of the truck, completely terrified, and Jordan mourning for her girlfriend. They wait a long time, but the boy says that the creature will not leave when it has a scent. He tells them they are always hungry, and have babies that are always hungry. Nick asks the boy more about him, and comes to the crazy realization that the young boy is Jesse, Nick's very own missing classmate from decades before. Jordan asks how that is possible, because he hasn't aged at all. Nick can't explain it, but that is definitely Jesse. They muster some courage, and with the gun they find in the back of the truck, they figure they have 4 shots to maim the creature. Nick makes a plan with Jordan that Jesse will distract the creature to the back of the van by making noise, and then Nick will throw some pots and pans into the woods away from the truck to lure it away, to give them space to walk out and aim the gun. They do a trial run and it works. The creature inspects the pots and pans away from the truck, so Nick signals for them to do it again. And this time he throws something again, and the creature goes to look at it. Then Jordan walks out with Nick, aiming the shotgun at the creature, and begins to fire. It runs at her and she shoots it 4 times, but it does not hurt it. It attacks Jordan at her neck, and Nick runs back to the truck, where Jesse lets him back in. He waits a little while, unable to help Jordan, who is calling out in pain. He has an idea, and runs out with a gas bottle in his hand. He turns the valve to release the gas and throws it, and the creature goes to look at the gas bottle, and then Nick lights a flare and throws it at the creature, which causes a big explosion, which sets the creature alight. It runs off into the woods, making distressed noises, completely covered in flames. By morning, Nick and Jesse sit together, completely traumatized, as a search and rescue team gathers, and detectives and forensic scientists take things from the woods as evidence. Jesse asks if one day Nick and him can go fishing together, and he tells him of course. Jesse is sitting still when suddenly a car pulls up. Out gets Jesse's mom calling for him. He runs over to her, and she has a mixture of disbelief and bewilderment that her missing son is in front of her, and that he has not aged one day when he should be an adult. She holds him, crying, telling him she has missed him so much. Jesse's grandma comes over to him in disbelief, and they all hold each other, crying. Later, Nick is fishing at a swamp with Jesse, and Jesse thanks him for taking him fishing. Nick smiles warmly at him, and says he is welcome anytime. Then Jesse asks Nick what he is using for bait, and Nick tells him he is using grubs, and then they both laugh. The end.